Agentic AI is one of the buzziest stories of 2025. Fortunately for us, Morgan Stanley dropped a 100-page plus deep dive not too long ago as to where this could go, and we've read the whole thing so you don't have to. In this video, we'll break it down in plain English, how to understand this opportunity, the current landscape, and more importantly, what this could mean for investors like you and me. We will then explore where value could accrue and which kinds of companies might potentially capture it based on Morgan Stanley's research. So this will be a content-packed video. So before we get deep in the woods of explaining and analyzing, remember to give the like button a quick jam first. Now, I think the best way to approach this topic is with real-world examples we've all seen. So over the past 12 to 18 months, there's been a wave of headlines about companies laying off employees, not because they're running out of money or because the business is collapsing. In fact, some of these companies are posting record revenues and profits. What they're saying instead, where they're restructuring and shifting more of their budget into this monster called AI. So a good example you might remember is that Amazon announcing about 14,000 corporate jobs cuts, while at the same time stepping up its investments in their AI capabilities. So the signal is pretty clear. AI isn't a side project anymore. It's becoming the main event. And this brings us to the first big idea of this technological shift, Agentic AI. So if your first brush with AI was ChatGPT, you probably think of it like a very capable chatbot. You ask a question, it gives you back an answer. Helpful, sure, but still just answering your questions. Agentic AI goes a lot further. Think of it like a digital teammate that understands your goals, use tools and data to get things done, and they make autonomous decisions along the way, and remembers the context so it doesn't start from scratch every other time. And that's the key idea being highlighted in the Morgan Stanley research we've reviewed. An agent isn't just reacting, it's acting with purpose. And it typically combines a reasoning model with tools, things like your APIs, apps, and company data. And it uses memory to carry the context forward so it can work across multiple steps. Now, let's get back to first principles. So to understand Agentic AI, the term, it helps to revisit the word agent. By definition, an agent acts on behalf of someone else. So if you work for a company, you're an agent of that business. If you're a lawyer, you're an agent for your client. So for a long time, that sounded like a purely human role. And what's changed is that software is starting to take a piece of that job as well. And this isn't really a program of if this then that automation that we've seen for years. The difference is that agents can now adapt to changing inputs, make sense of unstructured informations, like reading your email or even PDFs, and coordinate across different systems without relying on a pre-written decision tree. And that's a big leap from scripts to something that looks more like judgment today. Now, a quick reality check. We are not talking about a sci-fi autonomy where machines run the show. And a good way to think about where we are today is to think of a 5-level scale. We are currently roughly at level 3, where agents can create plans, execute them, and adjust based on feedback to handle a multi-step task, but they still need human oversight. What matters though is the pace of progress. So independent evaluations today suggest that the length of tasks generalist agents can complete has been doubling roughly every 7 months. And that's why we are recently seeing a lot more pilot programs turning into production systems themselves. And not because agentic AI are flawless, but because they're becoming good enough and they're getting there pretty fast. And a lot of people are still underestimating how far this can go because humans continue to remain in the loop. But even with these guardrails on, the shift is already starting to change how work is getting done. So AI agents are beginning to quietly take over a whole chunk of workflows, and as the safety and auditing tools around them start to mature, we'll start to see more end-to-end processes being handled with little to no human intervention. So the natural question is, how big is this really? And it really depends on how you set the boundaries. If you take a conservative view and only count the narrow labor automation slice, you get a market of roughly $6 billion today, growing to around $20 billion by 2028. But if you take a broader view and include process and workflow automations that spans across multiple systems, you are looking at roughly $52 billion today, moving towards over $100 billion by 2028 alone. And that difference in gap actually comes down to definition, what you decide to label as agentic or not. So our view sits somewhere in between. So once agents are weaved into everyday software, it becomes hard to surgically separate agentic revenue from the rest. So either way, this doesn't look like a side quest. It looks like a core shift in how new work is done in the near future. So if you're an investor, the next question is, where does the money go? What are potential investment opportunities? So Morgan Stanley actually offers a framework into thinking about this. So imagine a stack like a pyramid of value capture. At the base, and often capturing a lot of the dollar value, the hyperscalers and AI infrastructure providers. So if agents are like digital workers, these companies at the bottom of the pyramid runs the power grid. Every hour the agents work, the meter actually ticks because they're consuming compute. And these providers actually also have the opening to upsell you different things like retrieval, security, governance, and even policy, where the agents can run safely inside real businesses. Next, you've got the model providers, and they're essentially the brain pushing the frontier of reasoning. After that comes the layer that makes agents actually usable and trustworthy inside the company. You have security and governance for identity, permissions, safety, and even audit. And more importantly, the data infrastructure to get the right, clean data into the agents at the right time. So these parts are less flashy, but this is exactly where budgets flow when the pilot turns into something that people really depend on. So with that framing in mind, Morgan Stanley maps out the current market and places publicly listed companies into three separate buckets. First, you have the agent beneficiary. These companies have a clear path to monetizing agents directly or who stand to gain meaningfully as agentic adoption spreads. Second, you have the agent contenders. These companies are in the right categories, but still need to execute and may be waiting on the market to mature a bit more. While thirdly, you have the wildcards. This group could either be a tailwind for the core business or something that disrupts it. And the point here isn't to predict every winner today. It's to recognize that the game board is being rearranged and the pieces closest to compute, reasoning, and enterprise trust are positioned to capture a lot of those said values. And our goal here in this video is not to hand you a list of stock picks. It's to translate how Wall Street is thinking about this shift, and we are relaying the research and breaking it down for easier consumption. So at the end of the day, it's still Morgan Stanley's framework and view, and we're just using it as a guide. Subscribe to Investing Bites, our free weekly email with quick real-world investing takes. So all the link will be in the description below. We'll send the latest issue straight to your inbox. And this is CK from Piranha Profit signing off. Till next time, keep winning.